104.9 FM. Where are we?
Abuja.
Check your systems are offline.
Number one for today's hits and all-time favorites.
Those against in here, the eyes have it.
Our journey has been steady from the advent. With crystal clear vision, we started off as a news online portal. We subsequently evolved into a magazine, and now on your radio. We do not only bear the name Media House. We practice with the best ethos of our professional calling, presenting facts with objectivity. We are committed and resolute. We are HallowMace. We are the standard bearers. It's HallowMace on radio, dedicated to promotion of legislature, democracy, and good governance. It's hot, interactive, educating, engaging, and entertaining. HallowMace on radio, Tuesday, 10 a.m. on Democracy Radio, 104.9 FM. HallowMace on radio. Parliament. Brought to the people. Brought to the people.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to HallowMace on Radio on Democracy Radio 104.9. Now, today, 2 days from now, Nigeria will be celebrating June 12th. As a matter of fact, the president will be addressing the joint session of the National Assembly on that day. That's to show you how important that day is for Nigeria. Democracy Day is one that has come a long way. You know, it means different things to different people, but everyone accepts that it's a day that deserves celebrating, a day Nigeria did experience democracy a long time ago. We'll be taking a look at June 12th, and today on the program, I have two very important personalities. I have in the studio Dr. Mrs. Gloria Bose Abiola. Good morning, Dr. Mrs. Gloria Abiola. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Abiola is actually the wife of the late politician MKO Abiola. That's how big today's program is. Also in the studio is Hon.Ossai, Nicholas Ossai. This is not the first time we're speaking to Hon.Ossai. Hon.Ossai had worked in the 7th, 8th, and 9th sessions of the National Assembly. Hon.Ossai, seeing you. Good morning.
Thank you.
All right, let's begin with Hon.Ossai. We'll get all the stories from Dr. Mrs. Gloria Bose Abiola pretty soon. But Hon.Ossai, you have been in the National Assembly, and the President will be addressing the joint section of the National Assembly on that day. And that is to show you that this is a day that Nigerians have not taken for granted, and a day that Nigerians think should be marked nationally and even internationally. What does June 12th mean to you, Hon.Ossai?
June 12th has a lot of things in stock for Nigerians as a people and because as of them, we are really the activists on ground that fought for June 12th. Even when the juntas were able to disqualify a lot of people, and also disqualifying a lot of parties and bringing two political parties, NRC and SDP. Even when Dr. Abiola entered into the race, he was never, we didn't see him as a progressive in terms of we activists. But because of a lot of things Abiola did across the country, so we adopted him as a better candidate to TOFA. And as a better candidate to TOFA, Abiola's wealth of experience and philanthropy cut across the country. And he ignited a lot of interest. And people supported him wholeheartedly. And he won that election massively. I worked for him in Lagos. I was in Lagos. So we campaigned very seriously as an activist for SDP. And he won. And we also clamored that the result should be declared, even when juntas were doing some certain things that are abnormal. And until Henry Mosu started, Humphrey Mosu started announcing the result, and we're so happy that he could finish the announcement, but he couldn't. And that led to a lot of demonstrations. And we championed by NAS, and supported by a lot of activists, Ganify me and others, who gave a lot of support into that movement. A lot of people lost their lives. And we insisted that the winner of the president, the freest elections ever conducted, should be declared winner. But unfortunately, the junta insisted and formed an interim government. We didn't give that support to the interim government because we know the interim government will fail. Some of us were arrested, detained, and it was only God that saved some of us to be released from our detentions. But today, Buhari government came in and recognized June 12. And one of the pillar agitator of June 12 is the president today. And he is going to give inaugural speech in commemoration of June 12. I think it's something that we should be praised, something that we should celebrate. But in celebrating, there are people who have an injury in that process. When you looked at the Abiola family, you found out that they have lost a lot. A lot has been seized from them by juntas. Has it been released? That's the question. So in commemorating June 12, we should be able to also look at the people that have been affected. Even some of us were affected, but the degree of that, it should be looked into. The Abiola families suffered a lot.
Yes, and we'll get to find out.
Was killed.
That's right.
And a lot happens.
Yes.
So I feel that in celebrating June 12 and in recognizing a lot of National Assembly members, they should also recognize the past members who have championed a lot of things in terms of bringing this country together. But most importantly, the Abiola family, if there's any money that the federal government is owing their bills, should be paid between now and June.
Yes, we'll get back to hear from Dr. Mrs. Gloria Abiola, and she will give us the details of what has happened in the family so far. But now, before I get to her, look at the Nigeria of 1993, the voters, the attitude of Nigerians. Nigerians went out to vote without minding, without looking at religion, without looking at tribe. I was old enough. I was actually in the university then. So it was just a Nigeria that voted for an individual, not minding. What difference do you see today, Honorable Ossai? Are you not sad, if you like, that Nigeria has changed in so short a time? Permit me to use the word short.
When I say I'm sad, I'm also a participant. I've been there since 1999.
Okay.
I was a member of House of Assembly. I tried to change, but one man cannot change things. I came into National Assembly and advocated a lot and tried a lot of bills that are lost today. And whether Nigeria have changed in terms of voter is because of probably voters' education. People feel that government can always do anything they like. Why do I have to vote? I think that's the attitude today. And I believe that we have started gaining a lot of confidence through this present government. We lost it in the last government. But today, I think even when things are hard, this present government is showing that they are steady in the way they are going. But most importantly, Nigerians should be carried along in terms of voters' education, in terms of dividends of democracy. Democracy, I listened to Bigil talked about AI, where the job interests, where a lot of people can be displaced, but still enjoy the process of the society, the proceeds of the society. So I feel that the government should do more in terms of the people, not just only infrastructure, but the people. The people are the people who are going to use the infrastructure. If the people are dead, can they use the infrastructure? That's the question. So most importantly, I think they should focus on the people, empowerment of the people, more job creations. Government can form industry and partner with corporate organization to run those industries. But first of all, government must drive the process. When you say government has no business in business, government has business in business. Depending on the sector they are growing. If you are going into agriculture, make sure the people are secure in those key areas of agriculture. Those are the things that Abiola advocated for. because I saw the Abiola programs. Abiola is great. It was focusing on agriculture and industrial revolutions. And you know Abiola as somebody who has also established a lot of industry, established a lot of where people gain job, to feed their family. I think in commemorating June 12th, we should look at area, look back again. Can government drive the process of industrial revolution? I think government can.
Okay. All right. Now to Dr. Mrs. Gloria Bose Abiola. Can you tell us, please, ma'am, about Chief MKO Abiola's legacies as a wife, from your perspective as a wife,
yes,
the late politician?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on your program. My late husband, Chief MKO Abiola, was a visionary philanthropist, a patriot who believed in a united, prosperous Nigeria. He dedicated his life to uplifting people with his businesses, his charity, and political efforts as a family. We cherish his legacy with hope, unity, and sacrifice for democracy.
All right, now tell us a little more about what the late politician, the kind of character he instilled in his children and his family.
My late husband and father of so many children taught us integrity, compassion for people, and resilience. He believed in education, unity across ethnic and religious lines, and the power of serving others. These values continue to guide our family as we honor his memory.
All right, Hon.Ossai has said something should be done for the family for having sacrificed a lot for Nigeria. How has the family coped since the chief's passing away in 1998?
It has been a challenging journey with the loss of our patriarch and the main provider of our family. A lot of those being sponsored and cared for by the late Chief MKO Abiola, whether family members or so many students abroad or so many people that are not even Nigerians that he assisted, suffered a lot of, it was hardship. There's no way to describe the amount of hardship that we suffered. In fact, a lot became destitute. Those of us who depended entirely on MKO Abiola had to start all over from scratch. Many of us had very young children and ended up with nowhere to live. Life as we knew it was terribly disrupted. Many of the children became child laborers in different countries abroad. And this is the absolute truth. There was a lot of financial instability and insecurity, and we were left without the means to pay for simple medical services. It is by God's grace and many prayers that many of us were able to maintain some level of sanity to be here today. Some of late MKO Abiola's family members lost their lives due to simple illnesses that money could have prevented.
Okay. But before I get back to Hon.Ossai, let me find out from you, what does June 12 mean to you and the Abiola family personally?
June 12 is a day of pride and pain for us. It represents the hopes of millions of Nigerians who voted for the late chief in 1993, but also the struggle and loss we endured after the annulment. We are grateful, presently extremely grateful. It's now titled Democracy Day, a testament to sacrifice.
Hon.Ossai, before I come to you, let me give out the numbers in case people want to hear or join us in this conversation. 0810-885-1189. That is 0810-885-1189 or 0902-789-7967. That is 0902-789-7967. We mean the studio, Dr. Mrs. Bose Gloria Abiola, wife of the late politician MKO Abiola, and Honorable Ossai, Nicholas Ossai, a member of the 7th, 8th, and 9th National Assembly. Honorable Ossai, while I also want Mrs. Abiola to answer this question, let me first ask you, how do you feel about the recognition of June 12th as Nigeria's Democracy Day?
Yeah, first of all, June 12th defined when Nigerians saw that they built a culture, of resilience, a culture of hope, because that's the day Nigerians defined what democracy is all about. By trooping out, every household went to vote and casted their vote, and their vote was murdered, by the juntas. But it was a defining moment, for a democratic culture, and today it has been resurrected, to define that culture that made everybody, to go all out for election. That means they want to retrieve governance from the ruling class for themselves, because they epitomize Abiola as somebody who can help them, return the power to the people. That's what he defines. And whoever that is leading Nigeria today must do same. Because if we celebrate June 12th, or what Nigeria, it meant to Nigeria, that June 12th was a time all of them came out to vote, and their votes should count. It defines the present government that what the people need is democratic dividends. And that's why they voted. And they voted for this present government because they need democratic dividends. And what are those democratic dividends which are part of the culture of democracy? Food insecurity. Food security is paramount. Housing security is an ideal, and it has to be. Security. When you say security of the security, that means everybody can move freely in the country without being harassed, without bandits being on the road. Now, economic security, strong empowerment in terms of job security and others. I think that's what democracy defines. And in celebrating it on 12th, where National Assembly will be addressed, that means high level of policy must be defined. High level of policy must be defined in going forward. Because Abiola becomes the foundation of defining democracy in the country. And if Abiola becomes the foundation of defining democracy in Nigeria, it then means the people, the household, all those monies that have been taken from Abiola by the juntas, all those properties that have been taken from Abiola by the juntas should be returned back to the family. Because you can see what the wife just enumerated. The suffering, the pain for somebody who is the parent for everything, and has left. And yet, the people he has left have not even dreamed of democracy because of the things Nigerians are holding for them. So I believe that the president will do this country in good, and to the family in general, and to the Nigerian globally, by returning those things that the junta sees from Abiola.
And Mrs. Abiola, what's your take, or how do you feel that June 12th has been recognized as Democracy Day?
We were deeply honored when President Muhammad Buhari declared June 12th as Democracy Day in 2018. It was a step towards acknowledging the truth of that election and my late husband's role, Chief MKO Abiola's role in Nigeria's democratic journey. We thank all who made it possible.
All right, yes, but what role, let me find out, what role did you play particularly in supporting Chief Abiola during his political journey?
I, Dr. Gloria Abiola, am a medical doctor, but when my late husband contested for an election, I automatically became a politician. I supported my late husband during the election and campaign alongside him in Asaba, Delta State, where I originally come from. And after the annulment, because I lived in the state, we organized a body of people, an organization where we protested the cancellation in the United States. We visited the UN We visited the White House gardens to bring awareness to Abiola's plight. Most of the efforts were focused on Washington, D.C. and pulling in Black American civil rights leaders like Jesse Jackson, who was a friend of mine. I was a student in Chicago, and while I was there, I used to attend his rallies and church, and lived on the South Side. So I wasn't aware that I was being prepared for something for the future back then as a student. On the Nigerian front, I am the one who single-handedly, although very unknown to many people, I solely invited our hero, Professor and elder man, Wole Soyinka. I invited him into the struggle because I lived in New York and attended the same church as his first daughter. I think her name is Morenike. Her first daughter, Mrs. Her husband worked in the embassy. And so when my organization decided that we would sue President Babangida on behalf of MKO Abiola, we would take the Nigerian government to court. I like to do things legal. So we took the case to court in Washington, and it was decided that we will bring in our heroes like Professor Wole Soyinka. So I collected his number from his daughter and personally invited him and bought his tickets to New York, Phoenix. And so I see myself, I quietly, discreetly contributed my quota to the struggle of democracy.
All right, let me find out from you before I get back to Hon.Ossai Ossai. Can you take us back to June 12, 1993? What was the mood in the Abiola family during that election? Yes, that Dr. Mrs. Abiola. What was the mood in your family during that election?
The mood in our family, thank you for asking. The mood was one of hope and excitement. We actually believed that Nigerians were ready for a change. And the massive turnout and support for our late father and husband, Chief MKO Abiola, showed that it was a historic moment, uniting people across all divides.
Now, Hon.Ossai Ossai, if you're to do the speech for President Tinubu to be read on June 12th, what are the highlights? What are the high points you add to that script?
I think I've raised what democracy is all about.
Yes.
About security.
Yeah.
Democracy, by its definition, is government of the people by the people, and government of majority. If we break it down, So I just feel that President Tinubu came in a very strong foundation. He planted things like Abiola did. Tinubu was building structures across all the country without anybody knowing. Abiola, in his philanthropic gesture, was doing a lot for between North and South. He did a lot in terms of his philanthropic gesture, because he gave out a lot of funding to schools, to less privileged, to the churches and mosques. So Abiola was also building. Yeah, of course, Abiola Babes. Everybody knows that. Abiola Babes took over the National League and win. Abiola conquered newspaper. So there are a lot that Abiola did before he was seen as a man that belongs to all the communities. He wasn't belonging to the Yorubas. He was belonging to the Kwane people where I came from. He belongs to the Asabas. He belongs to the Kas. He belongs to everywhere. So that's why people came out and voted for him massively. So I believe in addressing the nation. Aside most of this economic front that has to be embedded in terms of going forward, driving industrial revolutions, and probably putting more effort in the issues of floating our naira, which is very key. Because because that can help a lot of things. Agriculture, security of the country. To me, the stomach first before infrastructure. Nigeria must eat and feed. When you eat, you remember that there's a president. When you don't eat and you are putting only infrastructure, you won't remember when your stomach is running. So I believe security should be the primary purpose that he has to address. Security to agriculture. Agriculture bans the economy and foreign currencies issues. So I also believe that for the sake of June 12th, Abiola family should be compensated. For the sake of June 12th, all those things that were seized for the Abiola family should be returned. Because our president fought for Abiola himself. They were part of the Nadecos. I was arrested as a member of Nadeco. Charged. Before I was released. So, and that's why I say President Tinubu is my role model. Because I voted for him when he went in as a senator before a governor in Lagos State, because I lived in Lagos. So that is what Tinubu is known for, and it should be part of his speech. I think that is the most important thing. On that day.
All right, call us on 0810-885-1189. That is 0810-885-1189 or 0902-789-7967. With me in the studio, like I said earlier, Dr. Mrs. Gloria Bose Abiola, wife of the late politician MKO Abiola, and Honorable Ossai, Nicholas Ossai, who's been to the National Assembly 3 times in 3 different sessions. Well, they're with me here in the studio. You can call us and tell us what you feel about June 12th. Like we told you earlier, Mr. President will be addressing the joint session of the National Assembly on that day. That emphasizes the importance of June 12th as Democracy Day in Nigeria. Dr. Mrs. Abiola, what impact did the annulment have on the Abiola family?
The annulment brought immense hardship, like I said earlier, emotional, financial, and personal hardship. The late MKO's arrest and detention was heartbreaking, and the family faced great uncertainty. His children were completely disabled. It led to a period of great distress and turmoil for multiple people within the late MKO Abiola's family, especially his children, who were essentially scattered all over the world, who had no choice but take up menial jobs. Some quit schools to become hairdressers, to mop the floors in fast food restaurants. No matter how little, our children at the age of 12 were working. That's the absolute truth.
Yes, we'll come back to what you want. Honorable Ossai has said he wants the president to take a look at how to fully compensate your family. Yeah. But as an insider, what do you think led to that annulment?
Well, the annulment of June 12 is a very complex issue. The military government will tell you, General Babangida will tell you, and cited irregularities. But many believe it was all about power and other interests. Fast forward, we are very grateful that in 2025, he finally admitted in his book that the late MKO Abiola won the election, vindicating the truth.
All right, vindicating the truth. Well, before I get back to Honorable Ossai, what was life like? Though you've said it before, during the detention and after the annulment, what was life like as in a family? I know you had challenges as a family. What was it like during his detention?
Well, during the detention of our late father, it was a very trying period. We lived in fear and uncertainty and were in constant prayer for his safety. Late MKO was isolated, denied news and his medical doctor and contact with anyone. It was a special grace that late Abacha, with the help of his Attorney General, Agbamuche, allowed me to see him. That is the absolute truth. But he was not in very good spirit. We completely held on to hope that the Nigerian government would do the right thing and release him alive. Unfortunate for all of us, it didn't happen. Well,
I understand how you feel. Honorable Ossai, let me talk to Honorable Ossai before I get back to you, Dr. Abiola. Honorable Ossai, you mentioned that election, the results were being announced before it was stopped. Recently, the former military president, Ibrahim Babangida, wrote a book, and then several questions were asked. Some applauded him for doing a good job. He said that, he tried as much as he could not to say that he wasn't responsible for the annulment. Now, as a pro-democracy person, then and now, where would you place Humphrey Mosu and history, on the history book?
Yeah, I think Humphrey Mosu, they undermined that he couldn't do what he did. Humphrey Mosu is one of the best chairpersons of the electoral body, because he was ready to announce those results before he was stopped by military men. And he brought in innovation into the electoral process. Option A4.
Yeah.
That option A4 made sure that you have to be popular in your base. And that also has resonated up to today. So that culture of option A4 is one of the best options that Nigeria electoral process have invented, aside the beavers that is happening today. So I believe that Humphrey Mosu will be placed in a high, a pedestal or a high level in terms of integrity, as a human rights group. And Babangida telling us that Abiola won the election just of recent doesn't mean anything to us. We knew that Abiola won. The result was there, open to the general public. It's just the official one that was not announced. Abiola was the president in waiting, but because the junta didn't want it to happen, and that's why they annulled that election. Abiola won. And Humphrey Mosu have repeatedly said that Abiola won, even if he didn't do it in official capacity, because he was afraid of his life too. But life means nothing to anything. You know why I say so? The only meaning of life is the impact you leave. Impact you leave in societies. Today, people Abiola promoted are captain of industries. There is what is called multiply effect. That's what Abiola did. The people, that good governance. When you promote good governance, you will be remembered from generation to generation. IBB will be remembered as somebody who annulled the election, the freest election. No matter how you present paper or you write paper, it will be in history by the people who are even giving birth to that you annulled the freest election in Nigeria. Today, it will be in history on June 12th. If President Tinubu amend those things that was, wrong to the family of Abiola, to be in history. As a man, as we are remembering today, that Buhari was able to restore June 12th as a democracy day. Let President Tinubu, who is my role model, define his own path in history by correcting the wrongs. I think that's just the issue.
All right. You should correct the wrongs of the past. Well, I'm sure our listeners are listening, because this is actually an interesting session. So permit if they don't call immediately, but they're listening. Dr. Mrs. Abiola, has the Nigerian government provided any compensation to the family since 1993? Just a follow-up to what Hon.Ossai said. Has there been any approach,
No, not yet. To date, no direct financial compensation has been provided to our family for the losses and hardships we endured. However, we are grateful for the recognition like the GCFR honor in 2018 and June 12 as being set aside as a Democracy Day. But a lot have to be done, still to be done for us. And we are appealing for that to be done right away.
All right. As one of the wives of the late MKO, how do you react to what the likes of former President Babangida and former Governor Lamido said, that the late MKO won the June 12 presidential elections? How do you react to that?
We are very grateful to the pronouncements and all the book writing and all what General Babangida talked about the outcome of the June 12 election. Well, it came 32 years late. We are very grateful to him for allowing his conscience to prompt him to say what everybody in Nigeria already knew, that the late Abiola won the election, and also for his repentance and the fact that he now values our family, MKO Abiola's household and family, enough to call for restitution, compensation, and justice. And I don't think it should be a word of mouth. He should carry out action. For me to be convinced that he is repentant, that he has sought forgiveness, and we will say, okay, we will forgive him. He should take action to make sure that this government do the needful.
Yes. To do the needful, yes. I want your take, both of you, Dr. Bose and Hon.Ossai. The former governor Sule Lamido called for the government to pay back 45 billion naira. He was specific to the Abiola family. Let me begin with Hon.Ossai. What's your view? The former governor said, look, Nigeria should pay at least 45 billion naira back to the Abiola family.
I don't know why under premises, he based that number, but I believe what the federal government is owing Abiola's are more than 40-something. That is what I believe. But I don't know how he based that argument.
Dr. Bose is raising her hand.
Yes,
what's your view?
I believe that 45 billion is based on the contract that my late husband, MKO Abiola, performed for late President Murtala Mohammed. Way back during that ITT, I don't know if it's
like
ITT, but yes. So if someone is owed 45 billion naira in 1979, I'm sure
interest.
President Tinubu is a seasoned accountant. We can depend on him to deduce what the worth of that debt should be today.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And I want to take the opportunity to thank President Buhari. We cannot undermine other things he did for our family that was not in the media. A few years ago, Pastor E.A. Adeboye visited President Buhari, appealed to him to please do not leave this your position without rectifying the problems in MKO Abiola's household. Please do it he appealed to him to do it for him, to gather MKO Abiola's household, and the poverty is just indescribable. So, President Buhari gave an executive mandate to his Attorney General, Malami Abubakar, to go ahead and bring all the factions together, all the contesting people together in the family, create a committee, locate all his assets, and make sure all debts, everything is paid, and help to dissipate, share whatever the obstruction is in this family that is preventing the distribution of the assets to the heir. Please, he gave him the executive mandate to solve it.
Did that happen?
Yes. The Attorney General constituted a committee that included, he invited everybody. But there was a breakdown, which I'm not going to go here. My appeal to President Bola Tinubu is that where President Buhari left off, he should please step into those gaps and make sure this executive mandate is fulfilled. Because right now we have a June 12 president, we have, I would say, a June 12 Attorney General. This is the rightest time for MKO's Abiola's assets, estates, instruments to be brought back from wherever countries that are seated upon these assets, telling themselves that there is no governance, no government in Nigeria. Letters were written by the Swiss bank to our attorney generals, telling them the process to bring back our assets. Abiola's assets destituted, dilapidated all over the world. While Nigerian government is looking for money to run the nation, Abiola left money, if only just to bring this back. I believe that it will alleviate some poverty amongst us.
Repatriating it back and then making it...
Yes, I am appealing. I'm not going to take any more time. I'm not going to waste time to appeal. I am on my knees appealing to President Tinubu. Do not play the label attitude. Do not tell yourself there's someone in MKO Abiola's household who is obstructing. We know the trick that Kola Abiola is using. Anytime Kola knows something good is about to happen, because he's one of those seated on this asset, he'll start trouble and mess it up. Like when he started talking ugly things about President Tinubu, I think a wise first son of someone like MKO Abiola, when someone like President Tinubu won the election, no matter what, you should be forefront to congratulate him. You should be forefront to bring your family together to acknowledge him. Because I cannot see anybody else who will do this if President Tinubu finishes his tenure and does not do the right thing. Then I give up. Then the white man might as well take all our assets. So I'm appealing to President Tinubu to forgive whatever is keeping him from carrying MKO Abiola's household along. Look at, there are heroes in Nigeria like late Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu. We know what he did in Nigeria. But today, the face of his family is the face of Nigeria in foreign affairs. Yes. If the likes of him can represent Nigeria, what is stopping the June 12 fathers from carrying MKO Abiola's household along? What have we done wrong? The only thing we did is raise our children's right. In Abiola's household, there are over 50 graduates. Me, as I'm sitting here, I have medical doctor. I have engineers who are directors in huge oil companies in America. There are orthopedic surgeons in amongst MKO Abiola's children. They did very well. Directors in Google, directors in Accenture, directors in Deloitte and Touche, directors working in the White House, Department of State. So, we have raised these children. They have come up with great seasoned CV. Why has President Tinubu refused to look at our CVs?
Okay. I'll get back to you before we run off. Hon.Ossai, how you and I were looking at her, and everybody here...
No, I think Abiola was a national asset.
Yeah.
And as a national asset, and that is why we are celebrating June 12. To me, the wife has spoken very well, but I know my role model, which is President Tinubu. will do the needful. I don't think he's going to allow it to go like that. The president I know today is a June 12th president.
Thank you.
And he fought for it. And he was more a human rights activist than any other person. So that's the president I know. And that's why I'm following him. And that's why I crossed from PDP to APC. Because he became a president.
Sir, that's why I prayed and voted for him, campaigned for him, went to the camp of Daddy E.A. Adeboye to pray for him. Even until 3 weeks ago, I was with Daddy E.A. Adeboye praying for Nigeria and for him.
Yeah, I see the president achieving that. I see the president doing the right thing for the Abiola's family. Amen. I see the president taking charge. Because Abiola that's why I say, it's not just a family issue. Abiola is a national asset when he was alive. And today,
speak louder
everything,
than voice.
Things will go gradually.
Amen.
But I see my role model addressing the issue in no distant time.
Yes, when you look at the advocating of Sule Lamido, and you've already said 45 billion is paltry.
Yeah, considering what asset of Abiola.
Yes. Would you also advocate that maybe a committee be set up to look into what Dr. and Mrs. Abiola said? To look at what can be repatriated.
You will see a president that is a structured president.
Yeah.
That understands the dynamics. He knows what to do. We shouldn't advocate for other committee or not. He knows what to do. The president I know knows what to do. He will call for those papers, and those papers that he will call, because there was already a committee set up by Buhari, and that committee has made substantial recommendations. So I believe that they can just pull off the paper, dust it out, and address those issues. Because Abiola is not just a family issue. Abiola is a national asset.
All right, Dr. Mrs.
I want to thank the people that gave me this platform. This issue we're talking without paying millions to any son, it's extremely important. You will not believe the extent that the Honorable Attorney General Malami went for us. I want to thank him. He wrote over 15 letters to Kola Abiola.
Okay.
And our problem, I'm not putting the problem on the Nigerian government at all, because I know where the problem is. Our problem is us, inside us. They say a house that is not together cannot stand. So I'm asking, advocating that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whatever the obstruction, whatever conflict he has suffered from Kola, he should please have mercy on account of other 76 children. Abiola in his lifetime, I took him to court in New York. He wrote 3 affidavits. He said he had 77 children. That is the way I've always told. I believe that what my late husband said should be carried out, fulfilled. But Kola, in his own senses, only wants to recognize 49 children. This is what has stagnated the situation, and the assets dilapidated, and all people that could have helped us elders, when they take a look, they run. And this is to Kola's great advantage, because this is what he wants. As long as people are running away, he's seated on it. We are appealing, like Hon.Ossai said, a strong committee that can handle Kola and whatever gimmicks he's playing. Because most of the Abiola's widows are old like me. Yeah, we're in our late 60s. Some in mid-60s. Some have died of diseases. Abiola's brothers and sisters have died of simple typhoid. Abiola's household, his family died of poverty, while Kola was jubilating and enjoying gambling with MK Abiola's assets. I owe it to the world to let them know the truth. The Nigerian government could have done more. They tried, but Kola is our obstruction. So what do? We cannot allow all assets abroad. The banks abroad are writing to us. Do you people? I have letters because I have taken them to court and they said, we only deal with Nigerian government, not with you. They gave letters. The letters are all seated in Ministry of Justice for 14 years. Kola obstructed everything. We don't have enough money to fight Kola. We are appealing to the Nigerian government and to the elders men of Nigeria to please assist us. I don't know if this is a proper platform, but I'm old and I owe it to myself to let this out there. The Nigerian government, they did their best. In fact, the Nigerian government went to the point of providing money to handle these cases abroad. Kola has 10 times that money and blocks it.
Honorable Ossai, I'm sure you've been listening, and you expressed optimism that all of this can be handled by the president, who you think is a well-known person and who you sure can. But Dr. Abiola, any idea? I know you don't have all the calculations. How much could be, out there yet to be brought in?
Thank you for asking me. I took the Swiss bank to court 3 times. On one of the occasions, my lawyer, who is a Swiss man, called me aside and said, this is this. Make sure the Nigerian government does not walk away from this money. It's a lot of money. And then I didn't see him for years. When I saw him, he was almost dead. What happened to you? He said, they tried to kill me for the documents I gave you. He didn't directly give me these documents. He made a mistake. He pushed the wrong button on his computer and I was praying with Daddy Gio Adeboye. I would go to court. I would not go to court without visiting him. And he told me they will make a mistake that will promote you. And so when they made the mistake, pushed the wrong button, all Abiola's bank account, everything came to me. I took it to President Jonathan. And President Jonathan said, we have never seen this. Abiola, if he did not have money, Credit Suisse Bank will not be replying my letters. They will not be threatening Kola. If you ask us one more time for these assets, it is criminal. They will not be telling the Nigerian government, this is the way to, this is our constitution, write this and do this. We listen to government, attorney generals. We will not listen to Gloria. I have sued them, I have judgment 3 times. But the problem in Abiola's household, disunity. Some people think there are more children than others. Some people think I cannot see you collect that million. But Abiola is everybody's father. Everybody that Abiola fathered and the DNA is in them, I don't know why they are saying qualifying and not qualifying. If you are a child, you are a child. I'm from Delta State. This is what I've always told them. If you are a child, you are a child. It doesn't matter if your mother is in the village or your mother is Dr. Gloria Abiola who knows Jesse Jackson. It doesn't matter. So this is where the problem has lied. So we are appealing. We are all old. We are appealing that something needs to be done. While we are suffering, Kola is enjoying. He has never, as an administrator appointed by me, I appointed him. I took the supposed will to court in London, appointed him as an administrator. He has never had a meeting with us for more than almost 20 years. He refused. He what do you say now? He liquidated assets, Summit Oil, sold private jet, everything. He just feels so entitled that we are scared to even look his way. And the Nigerian government, the only fault they have is, I wonder, do they not have a way of handling situations like this? Are we going to just let it go like that? Because he feels entitled and won't talk to us and won't. The Attorney General invited him 15 times. Later, he refuses to come. We don't know what to do.
Like Honorable Ossai, I'm also optimistic that President Tinubu can really set his foot down and look at what. This is a good platform. This is Democracy Radio 104.9. It's actually Nails Democracy Radio, so you're on a good platform. And I'm optimistic that you will come back to tell us that this matter has been resolved.
Amen.
And for Honorable Ossai, you have expressed optimism. I'm tying to your optimism too.
I'm holding on to him.
But on June 12th, we will hear Mr. President address joint session of the National Assembly. Well, Dr. Mrs. Gloria Bose Abiola, wife of the late MKO, thank you for being on this show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And we pray that all becomes well. Yes.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And the Honorable Ossai, maybe you will prepare for the fourth time in the National Assembly. I don't know whether you have retired.
I think the election is too far. All our support now is to the president.
Amen.
For him to succeed.
Yes.
I'm always glad when I see him make a lot of economic speeches and policies. And I look forward to June 12th, where Abiola issues will be addressed.
Yes.
And where a lot of issues of economic importance to Nigeria, knowing fully well that Nigerians must eat food before the infrastructure.
All right. I want to thank you all, and also our listener who has kept up with us. I'm sure by the time you leave, maybe you'll be getting messages on this. It was quite educative, quite informative, and we want to thank you for being out there for us. My name is Anayo Akwiti. Join us again next week on HallowMace on Democracy Radio 104.9. Have a great day. God bless you.
The eyes have it.
Our journey has been steady from the advent. With crystal clear vision, we started out